I'm here today to talk about why regular persons get sick, why they burn out. There are so high suicide rates and there are negative numbers in demographics in the Western world. And that reason is? No, corporate presentations. It took me 15 years in journalism, 8 years in presentation business, and 1,000+ slide decks made with these hands to figure this out. And you will be the first audience today that I will reveal all my discoveries. Today, I'm a voice also for millions of people out there who hate their jobs just because they're struggling with their corporate lives. And they're producing them close to industrial numbers, and they see no light at the end of the tunnel. Ladies and gentlemen, the definition of presentation is very simple, yet sometimes confusing. A presentation is a form between two or among many with one particular reason to transfer an idea from me, from presenter, to you, the audience. In other words, to persuade and to influence. That is why a good presentation usually also ends with a call to action. So if you spot a call to action somewhere in the middle or at the end of presentation, you know that you have been blessed with a good one. So, what I see in the corporate world, it's a different world, actually. It's a form of communication. Yes, it's true. Check. Usually, there is an absence of any valuable ideas, or there are many ideas mixed together in random order, and it's something between reporting and informing, mainly. So, no influence and no persuasion here. So, we can all agree that if there is no idea, a clear idea to communicate, there might not be a call to action. So, no here as well. And I'm sad to see this because the reputation of presentation has been damaged with those sub-products, those corporate sub-products that we call presentations as well. I had a client 3 years ago, a decent company with international exposure. They asked me to participate in to creating one investor's pitch. And this is where I met their PowerPoint guy. Let's call him Gary. Gary was supposed to provide me with all the details necessary to make this pitch. And he welcomed me with a very genuine smile, with a very warm handshake. He was very friendly. And first thing he showed me was his super tiny cubicle in the very darkest corner of the unopened space office. So I kind of felt that I was the first person who landed on his sad and lonely planet. Later I learned that 80% of his workload consists of creating PowerPoint slides, mainly for his colleagues for internal communication purposes. And only 20% of his time he spends doing what he loves, managing projects. So you see, when he was still a junior, and he entered the company together with his colleagues, and you know that PowerPoint is trusted only to the most junior stuff in the companies, right? So when he was this junior assistant, he was trusted with PowerPoint slides. And he quickly became so good at it. When these colleagues pursued with their careers, Gary stayed where he is. Because management thought that he's so good at those slides that he likes what he does. And because PowerPoints are usually very bulky, they are with lots of graphics and text and so on, I was very surprised that when he said that he is producing almost around 100 slides per day. 100 slides per day. So this was his daily routine. full of graphs, text, charts. Actually, I did a calculation. It's one slide in every 4 minutes. And to be honest, I'm not exaggerating here, our slide designer back in the agency is 3 times slower than Gary. So there's a huge difference though. Our slide designer likes what he does. Gary, on the other hand, is ready to kill to break free from this. So, long story short, we had an eye-opening chat with Gary, after which he left the company and he joined another company in Netherlands on a very strict condition. No more PowerPoints. And I kind of feel that I saved the guy's life. Almost 8 years when I joined presentation business with clear mission statement, and that was I wanted to change the presentation culture. A couple of years later, I understood that my true mission is to save bright and educated minds from the den of corporate presentations. I like this comparison with this spam mail. For example, you come home and you reach for the contents in your mailbox, and you take it out, and you see all those leaflets and booklets and brochures. What do? You throw them away, right? But imagine, there is one person who have gathered all this information. There's a designer involved, an editor, there's a printing house with all the coloring, modern, innovative techniques, and good quality paper. So there's an industry behind this. And I'm always wondering, how long can one do a work that is not meaningful to majority of people? How long? And this is the same with corporate slides. You cannot imagine how many people right now are struggling with these slides for tomorrow's meeting. And tomorrow, when that person goes to work, the boss will say, I'm sorry, we will postpone this meeting 2 weeks later. You don't know how many people are right now by their dinner table at their homes, together with their loved ones. But they cannot participate in this because they are staring at their laptops, and there's a blank slide welcoming you with a text. Click here to add title. And you cannot imagine how many people right now are desperate, and they are really ready to some really radical steps. And I know this from my own experience. I have seen those people. So is there a way out? Is there? Luckily, yes. When studying Fortune 500 companies, especially those at the very top of the chart, there is one pattern. Those who are the most successful ones, they are so-called PowerPoint-free zones. And the world's richest person, let's take for example Jeff Bezos, has openly declared his company a PowerPoint-free zone. Instead of that, he's inviting their executives to come to meetings with special memos, with narratives. When Sheryl Sandberg joined Facebook, she encouraged her employees to come to her with a list of things written down, what you want to discuss with me. So the conclusion is, we do not need slides for communicating and telling stories in companies. What we need conversations, simple conversations. And this is what actually distinguishes those who are good performing companies from those who are performing low. Most likely, there must be some kind of way out from this. And I'll show you just one quick tip how you can actually change the culture of presentation inside your company. So let's take this one example. You can easily create something that is on one page, and this is coming actually from famous Toyota production system. So on one page, you can post your problem or challenge. Then you explain what's the impact. So is this really a problem for us? Will this impact our next quarter results? Then you come up with your solution. Then you lay out all resources you need, money, time, people. And at the end, there is a call to action on one page. Let's take a look how this looks when it's filled with information. It's something like this. Okay, I know it looks quite busy on screen, but when it's printed out and when you hold it in your hand, it looks nice. It looks very good. And we did some tests in several companies. And guess what? The meeting times went down. One manager called me and said, "You won't believe, Kristaps, we had 3-hour meetings, 3-hour board meetings filled with PowerPoints. People came and showed their slides and they wasted our time. Now, with this new approach, meetings are 40 minutes long and we cover all agenda." So, is there a call to action to my presentation? Yes, there is. I invite you to stop stealing from yourself. Stop stealing the most valuable resource you have, and that's time. Your children are young now. Your spouse loves you now. Don't waste time on silly, meaningless corporate slides. Thank you.